Hello and welcome to the On Fine podcast. It's Anna here with you this week, and if you're listening live, as it were, or on date of broadcast, the schools have gone back today. It's a mixed feelings, a little bit sad, but good to be back to some sort of routine. And now, because a lot of people take a break from the roller coaster of podcast listening over the summer holidays, we're actually going to repeat an episode that we broadcast a few weeks ago, which is some brilliant stuff recorded at the Royal Highland Show. So if you have been busy and haven't had a chance to listen, here is one of those episodes for you to enjoy now.
Welcome to the On Farm podcast. This is Dave Howard, producer Dave. I've just arrived on site at the Royal Highland Show. I'm looking for Anna. I was meant to be meeting her here somewhere, so I'm just walking around, heading past the big house now. Here she is. Anna, how are you doing?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I'm fine. What on earth are you holding?
Well, I'm holding something that nearly didn't get me into the showground, actually, because the security staff thought that I was either
It looks like a weapon.
brandishing a weapon
or some sort of mad protester.
Or I was protesting about something, but neither of those is true. What I have with me it does look like a placard, a poster on a stick, isn't it, really? It talks about On Record and about the On Farm podcast. There's a QR code on it so that people can scan it in order to listen. And so I've had my first scans already this morning since we're walking about.
That's
and
brilliant.
It says come and have a chat. We want people at the showground today to come and talk to us about their experiences of the Royal Highland Society, of the show, of Scottish agriculture, and we're trying to get at least 50 voices. That's the challenge that we've set ourselves, to get 50 voices and talk to 50 people who are all here enjoying themselves.
Okay, so the placard makes sense now. You've explained it to me. That's our mission, isn't it? It's the
is,
Thursday morning
yes.
of the Royal Highland Show. First thing, people are streaming in through the gates.
It's not even 10 o'clock yet and the place is already busy.
I was trying to figure out whether this is going to be one episode or two, right? We're going to try and get
Yeah.
these 50 voices. And I think we'll decide once we've got them whether it's going to be, one episode with them all crammed
Yeah.
in,
I
or
guess
whether
it
we'll
depends
kind of
how
spread it
chatty
out.
people are,
Exactly.
doesn't it, really?
Well, the whole point
Yeah.
of this is to be part of the Highland Society's 240 years of stories, right? Because we're
That is
partnering
correct.
with
We
the
are.
Highland Society's 240 years of stories.
Yes.
So, 50 voices.
Yeah.
Starting now?
Starting now. Did I just hit you?
Placard just hit me in the head.
Oh, sorry. I nearly hit a man on the bus, actually. He was very understanding. Excuse me, gentlemen. Do you mind if we stop you? Now, this gentleman was one of the people that you spoke to for the podcast 4 years ago when we did the remote recording when there was no Highland Show. Do you remember?
I can't remember.
Tom Middleness.
Excellent.
You'll remember.
Well, good, you can remember.
Can
I
you
remember doing something, but I can't remember
Yes.
what I said.
Well, when there was no
That
show
was online.
in 2020, we had to record a series of podcasts online because
Yes.
we couldn't be here. But this year, we are in person, and we're recording in person, and it just so happened that we've spotted you, one of
Again.
our first guests. So I think we should have you on again.
I come because I meet people. I love meeting people.
And how many years have you been coming for? Since
The first
you can remember?
one I went to was at Alloa, and I can't remember which year it was, but I was in a bus from the village at East Linton. I had a bus with my father, and I've been at everyone here except one with a wedding in 2006 or something
Wow.
in USA.
So you missed that one.
so
And
I
then
missed
obviously
that
there would
one.
have been a couple that you would have missed because of COVID
That's
and
right.
foot and mouth. But when it's been on, you've been here every year except
Every
one.
year, yeah.
Amazing.
What can you remember about that first show at Alloa? How old
We
would you
got
have been?
fish and chips on the way home.
Is that the most important thing?
Not really, I can't really remember very much. Probably about 12.
So this will be 68 years of Highland shows then, minus one.
Minus one.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty good going.
I-
I wonder if we'll be able to find anybody today who can beat that. I'd be surprised, actually. We hope to be recording podcasts at the Highland Show for many years to come, and I hope that we bump into you again next year and the year after
Not
and the year
him
after
again.
that.
You'll have to think of something new to say, though.
Yeah, well,
You'll need some new material.
But the thing is, the stage my brain's got to, it will be new.
I can see they're itching to get round
Yes,
these
I know,
machinery
we're
lines.
holding you back. Go
So-
and do your shopping.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Bye-bye.
Tom, Willie, thanks ever so much. Cheers.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
We're on an on-farm podcast memory lane trip.
Yes, we are, aren't we? We are.
These look like willing victims if you
They
did want to
do,
stop.
don't they? Yes.
Well, they've just steadfastly started looking the other way.
Podcast about the Highland Society and the Highland Show.
Oh, cheers, I don't know.
Can we grab you for 30 seconds? Would that be all right?
I'll tell you, come up here. This man will talk to you. Peter, this lady would
Hi,
on for
hi.
talking about the Highland Show. You'll be better at it than me.
Thanks a million, yes.
Can you just tell us what your name is?
My name is Peter Richardson. I work with Macquarie Engineering, and we manufacture silos, the VMAX silos.
Yes, which we're standing underneath right now. Yep. And so how long have you been coming to the
We've been
Highland
coming to the the Highland Show.
The Silo Show.
The Highland Show now, I think, for 14 years.
Yeah.
And the reason we keep coming back is, one, it's probably the best machinery show on the British Isles. We do a lot of shows in Ireland and in the UK. And to be fair, the spread of machinery at this show is just superb, outstanding.
And just for the record, we did not prompt that. That was
No money has changed hands.
honest feedback.
No, that is genuinely. And when we get asked what show should people be coming to, and
Yes.
even back home for people, we would always say, come to the Highland Show. It's very easy to get to from Ireland because you fly directly into the airport and you walk across.
Yes,
so it's very, very
exactly.
simple. So we see
Yeah.
a lot of day trippers coming over. I mean, we nearly
Do you put the silos in your hand luggage, or do they go in the hole?
oversized luggage, but it's a great opportunity to do business with our Scottish customers. And to be fair, anybody who's in farming in Scotland is here at the show at least one of the days, and more often than not what we'll see is people will come along on the Thursday, they'll do their homework, and then later on they'll come back and they'll
Yes.
say, we're going to buy now, ready to buy, we've done it, fire ahead. So
Yeah.
the deals are done later on in
And
the
do you
in
get
the
the
show.
opportunity when you're here to enjoy the show from a more personal perspective as well, or are you kind of working
To
solidly?
be honest, the show is generally always quite busy. But yeah, no, we get out later on in the evenings and get a good wander. And it's great to go down, and for us, it's great to go down and see the animals, the cattle, and the sheep and so on and stuff like that. And that's really, makes a big part of the show.
Definitely. Great. Well, thank you very much for
Not at all.
for chatting to us.
Just say the name of the business again.
It's VMAX silos.
Thank you so
Super,
much.
not at
Thank
all.
you. Have a good show. This weather is better than the forecast. I'm quite enjoying the sunshine.
What about these squaddies? Give us your name, rank and serial number.
So I won't give a number. I'm Lance Corporal Cashwell, Royal Scots Dragoon Guards. Also, you're part of the British Army. Here to your right, we have our vehicle. So we're part of the Armoured Corps, and within that, we're a light cavalry unit. So this vehicle is used for light cavalry reconnaissance or fire support as well. As you can see, it gets a little bit cold if you're going down the motorway, especially in the rain.
I can imagine, yeah.
There's no roof, no windows or anything on it, so you get battered by the elements. We're mainly here to sort of provide a positive outlook for the British society, for the British Army. There's so much out there that people don't know about. Like myself, I left school at 17, went to the Army,
Yes.
and by the time I was 20, I had a college diploma for engineering on a vehicle.
All done through the army.
It's all
Yeah.
done through the
yeah.
army to
It's
learn.
really an awareness raising thing then for you
Yeah.
guys to show all of these young people, because actually there's probably about 40 young people here clambering all over everything. They're fascinated.
I mean,
It's an awareness raising thing to get people to understand more about the career prospects and the qualifications
Yes.
that you can gain by joining the army.
Yes, I
Yeah.
mean, especially in today's day and age, it's not all about combat. Our regiment's last tour was in Mali, which is West Africa, UN peacekeeping, and it's just trying to get a positive outlook on the young population to try to recruit them into the army again.
And I think you've been excellent for Army PR. I'm impressed. So brilliant. Thank you very much for your
problem.
time.
Enjoy the
Have a
show,
good
enjoy your day.
Brilliant. Well done. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Would you be willing to speak to us for a podcast?
What again?
I've done too many. I'm overexposed. Are you recording at the moment?
We are, yes. You're person number 5 because we've only just started.
All right,
but we're
right.
walking around the show, finding willing victims just to talk to us about why they're here. And this is Rory Christie. I'll get him to introduce himself, but you will have heard his voice a few times, more than a few times on the podcast, but that's probably because he's always got something interesting to say. Is that not right, Rory?
More interestingly, I'm with Richard here today,
Well,
who's the person that helps me
Right.
get all my renewable things done.
yes.
He runs RHD Limited. He's the go-to man for all complicated solutions with renewable
Make him sound a bit like a hitman. He's the go-to man for complicated solutions.
Problem, he will
He's
find a solution.
Either a problem solver
He's an engineering hitman.
Or a problem maker.
or a problem maker. It depends which day of the week it is.
Well, given then that Rory has spoken to us a lot for the podcast, perhaps we will speak to you instead. Could you just start by telling us your name and who you are?
So I'm Richard Hay, engineer. I do energy controls. Worked in the oil industry for a long period of time, and then in the last 8 years been doing hydros, solar, and the management of energy.
And why are you here? Why are you at the Highland Show?
Because Rory got me a ticket.
Tell them about the beekeepers.
Oh, the beekeepers. Well,
Yes,
I've never
Tell us
actually
about
been, but my grandparents were lifelong members of the Beekeeping Association. My grandfather was a beekeeper, so this was always a highlight of their year coming here, and I've never been.
You've never been to the Highland Show
Never been.
until today?
No, this is it.
Oh, I think that's quite momentous, actually. Are you going to go and see the beekeepers?
We know where they are.
We've been
I
past
think
them.
you should. My grandfather was a beekeeper as well, so I should go and talk to them.
It's about they passed away 16 years ago, so there might not be anybody that remembers them. But they were honorary members because I think they'd been 45 years
Wow.
in the Scottish Beekeeping
And
Association.
Scottish agriculture couldn't really exist if it weren't for bees, could it? So I think it's quite significant that we talk to them. I think we need to find them as well, don't we,
We need to
Dave?
go find the beekeepers.
Yeah, definitely.
So what was the name of your granny and grandpa? And they can go down and mention it.
Hugh and Mary McLean.
Hugh and Mary McLean. Are you going to remember that?
No.
No, right. We've got it recorded, so we can
No, Hugh
always
and Mary
listen back. We will. Gosh, it's funny who you bump into, isn't it? We said we wanted to get people who hadn't been on the podcast before, and we keep.
Well, I guess we spot them, don't we? They kind of stand out.
What about the Dick Vet? I think it might be a good idea to speak to somebody from the Dick Vet, don't you? Shall we give it a try?
Okay.
So my name's Andrew and I'm a senior lecturer at the Royal Dick School of Veterinary Studies.
Can you tell us a bit more about All for Paws?
Yeah, sure. So it's actually a vet student initiative, and what we do is we operate an outreach clinic. It runs from the centre of Edinburgh, and we treat animals of people who are either homeless or vulnerably housed. We've been doing it for about 13 years, but we've fairly recently just got these new premises, so that's in the last couple of years. So these are final year students and fourth year students mainly, so they're almost finished, and they give up their time. We run the clinics in the evening and at the weekends, and supervised by qualified vets, of course, but they get a great learning experience whilst also giving back to the community.
And what has the take-up been like in Edinburgh at the clinic? Has it been positive?
Yeah, very much so. As I say, we've been going for 13 years, and it's estimated that about 10% of homeless or vulnerably housed people have an animal, and it can prevent them from getting accommodation because there's not very many hostels will accept animals. We're fortunate in Edinburgh, and we've got 3 that will, but they can fall through a bit of a hole in terms of getting advice and care.
So actually you're helping the animal's owner or person as much as you're helping the animal with the care that you're providing.
Yeah, and we've actually have a human nurse comes to our clinics as well. We work very closely with human nurses so that we can kind of cross-refer. So it does work very well in that sense. We're kind of using what you might call a One Health approach to it, that the animal and the human are together, and we're interested in the well-being of both of them. Yeah.
And are you looking for donations or support for it? Because that would be something we might be able to quickly plug before we move on.
Yeah, we have a website. If you type in All Four Paws Edinburgh, it will come up. So that would be great. Yeah.
And it looks like it's all number 4 Paws.
That's right. Yes, All Four Paws. That was the students that developed that. That idea.
Excellent, thank you. Well, hopefully you'll get some donations as a result of that.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Look, we've only walked 5 paces from the Royal Dick marquee, and we're now outside the marquee.
I told you that would happen,
I know.
didn't
You can't get anywhere.
4.5 paces, I said. So, yeah.
So we're with some more old friends. We've just recently done a mini-series, haven't we, with the Rowett Institute of Aberdeen. So go back into the On Farm podcast feed. But here we are. We're with Professor Wendy Russell of the Rowett Institute. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm glad to see you again.
We've only met on Zoom before, or the podcasting equivalent of Zoom. So it's really nice to meet you face to face. And we're going to talk about rose hips. Now, I've got rose hips in my garden. So why are they so special?
Well, I think first of all I should really tell you why we're working on rose hips, because it's probably quite an unusual crop for us to work on. So if you think about Scotland's future landscape, it's going to look very different from how it looks today. We're going to have increased urban spread, we're going to have more afforestation, we're going to have restoration of our peat bogs, and we really need to think about how we use our marginal lands. So wild plants can grow well on marginal lands and they can grow within forest settings. So one of the things we've really been interested in the Rowett is, are these wild plants more healthy than some of our conventional crops that we grow? So what we did is we grew wild varieties alongside heritage and F1 hybrids of common vegetables, and we showed that the wild varieties were much higher in phytochemicals, and these are compounds that are anti-inflammatory and we know could be contributing towards reducing diseases like type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease. So we're looking at opportunities for landowners and farmers. What could they grow in those marginal lands? And one of the things that we're showcasing, just to show there's potential on those marginal lands, is rose hips. So rose hips grow really wildly in Scotland. Everyone's seen them, they grow everywhere. They don't need any fertiliser or pesticides, so they're a really valuable thing that we could be growing. Now, we were working with a Bulgarian company who have produced rosehip flour from rose hips. As you say, in the war times particularly, when we didn't have fruits and vegetables, we used rose hips to deliver vitamin C to the population. But we can also turn rosehip into flour and bake it into baked goods. So we can make bread with rosehip flour. So we've actually baked rosehip bread and we're showing it here today so people can taste it. First of all, we tested it out at the National Bread Championships and it scored really well. So we know people are finding it really tasty. So not just is it a bread you can make from something that doesn't require so much nutrients, so would have a lower carbon profile, it delivers a high amount of vitamin C. And as we're thinking about food security and how we're going to get our food in the future, it might be that we'll need to go back to some of these traditional things that we can grow in Scotland on wild lands to deliver a lot of our vitamins and minerals.
Wow, flour out of rose hips. I knew you would tell me something I didn't know. That's unbelievable.
It's also high in fibre and it contains a lot of other micronutrients. And just to showcase it here today, we've mixed it with things like nettles, because other wild products contain other micronutrients. So if you wanted to deliver a full set of your recommended nutrient intakes, you could pick and choose between wild products and put together a product that could be really healthy.
Amazing. I think we're going to have to taste it, aren't we? Yeah. Shall we go in? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
As we go past the barley shortbread and the hemp bread, we love hemp. There you go. Wow, look at this.
Rosehip marmalade.
Yeah, so we've also made rosehip marmalade and we can make rosehip tea, but it's the rosehip bread that we're really showcasing today. So let's just let you see how the rosehip flour looks.
Yeah, so it's got a sort of slightly cinnamony look to it, but that bread looks delicious. Am I allowed to?
Yeah, please
try
do.
some?
Yeah, and you can try
can I dunk it in the marmalade? Wow. Oh, that's good.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad you like it.
Wow. Really yummy.
It's a real taste
really
hit.
Yummy.
It's a flavour hit, isn't it?
It is.
Wendy,
Brilliant.
I think what we should do just before we finish up is zoom all the way out, right? Just be useful to recap. What is the University of Aberdeen's Rowett Institute? What are you for? And what's the overview?
So, the Rowett's obviously an old institution. We were funded over 100 years ago as an independent institute. In 2008, we merged with the University of Aberdeen and we moved to the Forester Hill site, which is the big health campus. Our remit within the Super School of Medicine, Medical Sciences and Nutrition is nutrition and health. We really are trying to improve the nutrition and health of our nation. But we've realised it's so important now that if we're going to advocate a diet, that we don't just advocate a diet that's healthy, but we advocate a diet that's also sustainable and meets our climate targets and our nature targets. And that's why we work on a range of crops that we think will help businesses to develop their net zero. And because 2045 Scotland's got to deliver net zero, so the things that we look at are always healthy and sustainable.
Yeah.
Great.
It's Wendy voice number 7.
I've lost track already.
That plan's not going to work then.
7-ish.
7-ish. As long as we keep a rough track, we'll know when we've hit 50 odd. Thank you so much. I'm really glad we saw you.
Thanks
it's really
again.
nice to meet you.
Thank you so much.
So we've just finished speaking to Wendy. We've not even managed to leave the Rowett tent, and here's somebody else very interesting to have a conversation with. Amanda Matheson, is that right?
Yes.
Tell us what you're up to, please.
Yes, so I'm here to showcase my research on forever chemicals. So these are chemicals that are oil and water repellent, so they're very useful chemicals. So I'm here to show how these chemicals are in many daily products that we do not realise. Not everyone's, but for example, sunscreen or popcorn microwave bags can potentially leach these chemicals into our body. So my research is looking at how to detect these chemicals.
So forever chemicals are good and they're also bad. Is that basically what you're saying? They're good because they make our lives easier.
They're useful,
Yes, in terms of dental floss, a non-stick pan. But why are they bad or potentially bad?
So they're potentially bad because they're man-made and the chemical bond cannot be broken down in the environment or in our bodies. So even though we will have very low amounts in our body, they could build up because they do not degrade.
You say they contain PFAS. What does that stand for?
So that is all of the types of chemicals. So it's per and polyfluoroalkyl substances. So that's the broad name.
So that's what we really need to try and avoid is PFAS.
Yes. They're impossible to avoid, but it's just to try and reduce because so many products contain.
So that's how this all fits in then with the RHASS Institute, because it's all about health and trying to maximise health, whether it's rosehip bread that you put into your body or things that you should try and avoid putting into your body.
Exactly. Yeah.
Brilliant, very interesting. Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Got busy 4 days ahead.
Yeah.
We were heading to the main ring. We didn't even make it.
We didn't make it very far, but then I kind of knew that would happen because it always happens.
Oh, now look on the right though. Let's just have a little look at what's happening over here.
Highland ponies. I love Highland ponies. Look at them, they're so gentle and lovely.
We were talking to Sylvia Ormiston, the chief exec of the Highland Pony Society, in one podcast, weren't we, recently?
Yeah, I bet she's here somewhere. Oh, there's one having a bit of a hissy
There's our
fit.
judge, Gillian Doherty, giving out the champion to this year's champion for 2024. It is 4134, Mr. John Reid, Ben McDewey of Straven. This lovely grey stallion, 7-year-old, getting many ribbons pinned on for its success here today at the 2024 Royal Highland Show.
So Anna, it's coming up to 11 o'clock and we know you're a lady that wears many hats.
I do. And today's hat from 11 till 1 is as a trustee of RHET, the Royal Highland Education Trust. So I'm heading into the Discovery Centre to do my 2 hours of volunteering. They get groups of children and adults actually who come into the Discovery Centre, and our job is to teach them as much as we can about food farming in the countryside while they're there. So afterwards we'll get back to collaring our podcast victims.
So I've lost Anna because Anna has just started her stint volunteering in the RHET tent. So I thought if you can't beat them, join them. You can hear I'm in the RHET tent, the sound of babbling children's voices having lots of fun behind us. It's time for our annual chat. I'm with Katrina Barclay, Executive Officer of RHET. You're here again.
I'm here again, Dave, and nice to see you again. You're joining us on quite a busy Thursday morning. It's a shame your listeners can't smell what we can smell, which is the smell of lamb burgers cooking through the back, and we have some scones baking. And we're surrounded by some families just behind you there, and we've got several school groups who have come in all at once to get hands-on and exciting and have a great time when they're here.
It's always absolutely brilliant to come into the RHET tent because you just see so many excited faces, and not just the children. You're quite excited about this all coming together, aren't you, for these 4 days in June? This is your Christmas.
This is my Christmases all at once, and I genuinely mean that. I mean, the work that goes into preparing for this starts several months ago, and in the last 2 weeks in particular, the team have been just putting the shift in to get this building set up so that we could open the door at 9 o'clock this morning and welcome as many people in as we possibly can. But you get to really showcase the charity's work across the country. It's a great sample of our work.
You can probably hear the bagpipers going by outside. It's an occupational hazard recording at the Highland Show. There's always something. You've mentioned lamb burgers. I can see crafts. What's the stall that Anna's on?
Well, we've given Anna a really interesting stall to look after. She's actually showing children some sheep poo that we've made up with some pretend fecal eggs inside the sheep poo. And it's a way of helping young people understand how we look after the health of sheep. So what better way than to start with poo? You know, you're going to grab their attention, and the volunteer that was making it earlier with the cocoa powder was just covered.
It's not real poo then, no.
Oh, sorry, you can't see that from here, can you?
Listen to the dad joke, it's shampoo.
Brilliant. It's shampoo made from cocoa powder, flour, mayonnaise, and we've got some tapioca seeds in there. It's not edible, but it helps demonstrate what farmers look for when they're looking after the health of their sheep. So yeah, it's a bit fun, absolutely. But we got the idea when we visited the Morden Institute earlier on this year with our project coordinators and we're using their app that the farmers use, and they are using a bit of science to work out, well, where's the bar graph, where does it sit within the count of eggs that they've found and such like. So it's a bit of maths, but it's fun at the end of the day. And we've also got, beside you here, we've got a lambing simulator. There's a lamb just being pulled out and being given a good cuddle. And we've got some quad bike and a snacker here and some sheep handling facilities. And these have all been given to us for the 4 days of the show by our neighbouring trade stands.
So much thinking goes into getting this stuff right, and you've mentioned the connection with Morden, the world-beating animal health experts just outside Edinburgh. It's a big effort, a big concerted effort from all sorts of people, groups and organisations to make sure this is as brilliant as it is every year.
Absolutely, and without these connections with other companies and organisations, we couldn't put this on. You'd be coming into a very quiet shed. Absolutely, but we've got so many volunteers here, so people like Anna coming in and doing a shift for us. That's what makes it possible, and why I can stand here and have a chat with you. So makes it all more enjoyable.
Always buzzing to come here. Katrina, thank you so much. We'll let you go and do what you're supposed to be doing. I presume you're supposed to be doing something.
Well, I'm handing out stickers at the moment. Would you like one?
Oh, I'll take a sticker.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
You wear that with pride, Dave.
Thank you. There you are. She stuck it on my forehead. No, she hasn't.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Take care.
And learning more about how we can keep sheep healthy, and they help to develop medicines and all sorts of things so that the farmers can keep their sheep.
My nana used to live on a farm.
Oh, did she? And did she have sheep? Yeah.
Only sheep.
Only sheep. Well, I bet that your nana knows a lot about sheep.
Do you want to see sheep?
Yeah. So because I don't have sheep on my farm, I'm still learning a lot of things. So that's what I'm teaching people about sheep poo today.
Hello, my name's Emily.
And it's your little one. What's your little one called and how old is she?
Hattie. Hattie is 5.
How are you guys doing?
It's absolutely brilliant. I think RHASS do an amazing job teaching kids all about farming and lots of different agricultural sectors. It's brilliant. So they just explain it in a really accessible way, and they've got lots of different interactive things that they can look into, and it's just explained in such a nice way.
They don't even know they're learning some of the time, do they? That's what's great about
That's
it.
That's exactly it, yeah.
Right, go on. I'm going to bother some of you guys. Say again.
Are you interviewing one of the judges?
The horses haven't got very much to say, so that's right. So I've left Anna in the Ret tent doing her volunteering stint. We'll catch up with her again shortly. I've come to one of my favourite places in the Royal Highland Showground, to where the farriery competition takes place. And we're here to get as many stories as we can over the course of this recording. And I've met a chap called Michael. Hello, Michael.
Hello there. How you going there, sunshine?
I was immediately interested because that is not an accent from around here. Where are you from, Michael?
New Zealand.
So tell me about you. We're here collecting stories, really. So tell me what your story is. How did you end up here? You've got a badge on that says Farm to Farm New Zealand Tours.
Yeah, exactly that. My son went to the Canterbury show in the South Island last year and walked into the tent, and then he rang me that night to see if I wanted to go on this tour. And I said, well, you'll have to organise it, because I never used a computer. So he's organised it, and now he's deported me for 5 weeks, because we're going right through England, Wales, Scotland, across to Ireland, and back home again.
As a tourist trip, as a fact-finding mission? Are you a farmer back home?
I was a farmer. I'm retired now. Jesus, man.
You should see some farmers I know. You're young compared to some of them.
I obviously lived a good life.
So Farm to Farm Tours, then, is an opportunity to take part in agri-tourism. You're staying on farms, you're learning what happens on farms, you're staying in hotels.
Yeah, staying in hotels, but visiting farms, and yesterday's one was really impressive. Yeah, but a lot different than home, because all your stock over here, most of them are housed, whereas ours are outside, although it won't be long for the winter months, the cows will have to be off pastures. You can see that happening. I wouldn't be at all surprised they'll be building barns, take dairy cows off paddocks anyway.
So what did you farm?
I was a dairy farmer.
Right.
Yeah, I was a dairy farmer all my life.
So a very big farm compared to what we'd be used to in Scotland?
Yeah, the last one I had was 1,000 acres, and I used to milk, because it hadn't long come out of bush, and it was still in the development thrones, and I was milking 275 cows in a little wee rotary cow shed on my own. And then when I was doing my silage or whatever, my wife used to milk in there on her own. We never had staff.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so.
Brilliant to talk to you, Michael. Thank you very much. I guess I just had one more question, which is, what do you think of the Highland Show? Is it unusual compared to what you'd find at home, or?
Well, yeah, because all our shows like this have died off. Because the young ones don't want to go farming, like you fellas over here. Young ones don't want to go farming.
I guess one of the reasons for the Highland Show is to showcase agriculture and to help people to understand what goes on, and maybe encourage some of those young people that are around to get involved in the industry in future. Where are you going next on your trip? Are you carrying on north?
Yeah, going to a brewery tomorrow. We're going to the Scotch whiskey brewery or somewhere tomorrow. Tonight we're having haggis.
Excellent. Well, listen, I'm glad I caught you today, because I might not have got much sense out of you tomorrow.
No problem. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay, bye.
So I went away for a crafty break and maybe a venison burger, Anna. I hope you don't mind that I did that while you were busy working.
I can't believe you didn't bring me one.
Would have been cold by now. But Anna's finished her stint as a RHASS volunteer. We've met back up. Have you had a good 2 hours?
I've had a really good 2 hours, actually, yeah. I always find it quite uplifting to do a stint like that on the RHASS stand, because every single kid leaves having learnt something. It's just really nice to hear and to see that, and for it to be reinforced that what farming does is actually really interesting to other people.
Absolutely brilliant. Well done.
It was really good. Yeah,
well
it was
done.
really good.
So actually we're heading off to the right, aren't we? Oh, who's this? No photos, no photos.
We know.
For my real later.
Oh, thanks. Well, since we've caught you, you might want to chat to us. Would you like to?
Will you edit out if I say gosh? Last time I got such a hammering for saying gosh.
As long as it gets edited out when I say absolutely.
You do say that a lot.
So yeah, just who you are and why you're here.
We're harvesting stories. So what's your story?
Stories. My name is Lucy Laidlaw, and I am a communications and marketing specialist, but also sit on the board of Scottish Land and Estates. Do you know my highlight so far is I went to the Farmers Club dinner last night, and quite often you sit next to the same people that you've sat next to at lots of different events over the years, and I sat next to a wonderful woman, and I'll name her, Moira Land, who was telling me that she was a dentist by trade. She used to go around schools and check everyone's teeth, and when she was 55 she decided she wanted to start farming. It had always been what she wanted to do, and she went and saw Jimmy McLean from RBS, and he drove her up to Edinburgh for a meeting, and she got the money to buy her farm, and she planted it up as wildflower fields, and she's not that long sold the farm, but she was so passionate. It was really inspiring, actually, spending a lot of time with the same people and this brand new voice. It was fab.
And the fact that she's made that happen, and she wasn't just born into it, it was something that she long aspired to do, and she's done it. Yeah, that
and
is
she lives
really
nearby, so she still is in touch with the people who have bought and she said they've not changed anything that she did, so actually she was feeling pretty buoyed by that as well, and it was a really lovely moment. She was a very interesting lady.
Lucy, thank you so much.
See you later. Hi Lottie, how are you? Good, how are you?
Oh, look, a gold tractor.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Or is that copper? I don't
I
know.
wonder. Do you want to find another
Willing victim. Let's get you guys to introduce yourselves, okay? So, my name is And I Am. Tell us where you're a pupil at school.
My name's Abdul Rahim. I'm from Livingston. Last year of high school.
My name's Romeo, as in Romeo and Juliet. I live in Livingston and I go to St. Margaret's Academy. I'm in my last year of high school as well.
So it's your first time at the show, both of you. You've come on a school trip. Now you're here. Do you think it is a good idea?
Yeah, 100%. There's a lot of things to do. Get to miss a lot of classes, but yeah, it's actually fun, yeah.
So where have you been? What have you seen? What have you looked at?
Look at tractors. What else did we look at?
Cars,
motorbikes. We took a lot of samples. I have used that so much. I had so many. I'm so full.
So vehicles are obviously your thing. You've looked at tractors and cars and stuff, and then I'm sensing that you've been to the food hall, have you?
Yeah.
What did you think of the food hall?
You know what? It was actually quite good. It was quite good.
Yeah, the food hall is
a showcase for Scottish produce.
Yeah.
So did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I enjoyed
Yeah. Can you remember any of the stuff that you sampled?
I had burger, I had steak. It was like barbecue and like meat kind of thing. It was so good.
And when you go home again, do you think it will make you think about where what you eat comes from? Like, are you going to think about, oh, actually, I'd rather eat a Scottish burger than a burger that's been imported from the other side of the world, or is that not really on your radar?
Not really.
No, I don't really think about where my food comes from often. No.
Interesting.
What about jobs, guys? Because you've seen the people here, you've seen people here that work on farms, you've seen people that are working in kitchens. Is there anything that's been kind of inspiring, or anything you might not have thought about before?
I think I have a bit more respect for like people that like have like do these kind of things, because I don't really like think about like the process that goes into like making food often. I kind of just like eat my food and just
eat
like,
it. Yeah.
I think I gain a bit more respect for people that work in like farms and stuff like that.
I like that sentence. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, well, I'm glad you've both had a good day, and
guys, thank you very much for stopping us for a chat. It's been great to speak to you.
I hope you guys have a good day as well.
Thank you. Abdul, Romeo, thanks so much.
Where should we head to next then, Dave?
I don't know. I'll tell you another game we could play today. We could play a game of Count the Mullet, because there's lots of mullets at the Highland Show.
Of questions for our podcast. We're working with the Highland Show to create a series of podcasts, and we're getting 50 voices at the show today, of 50 people who are at the show, to ask them why they're here and what they enjoy about it. And we spotted you because we did a podcast episode with Doddy not long before he died, and so it's kind of reminded us of him.
A friend and myself are doing a sponsored bike ride from Land's End to John O'Groats just now.
Are you? Wow.
So we're 2 days off today and tomorrow to come to the show. So
oh my goodness, so you're in the middle of it at the moment. Yeah. Are you going up or down? You're going Land's End to John O'Groats?
Yes.
Right.
That's uphill though, you don't want to do that. That's uphill.
So do you come to the show most years anyway, but this year you're kind of integrating it into your mammoth cycle?
Well, we'll try to raise a few more pounds for the sponsorship here at the show.
Quite
but
right.
We've been to the show for many years.
Yeah.
Consecutive years.
So are you from a farming stock then?
Well, yes, been in agricultural, ever since ever really. But latterly, I was managing the HPS ring, which is a machinery ring up in Inverness.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah.
And Mary also worked for the ring as well. So.
Right. So you've got that connection, and then this year it's important for fundraising. And
My name's Doddy Foundation. Have been great in support before we left home and on the road as well, so we wanted to come and see those guys while we were here, and different companies are doing bits of PR for us.
So do you have your own Just Giving or some page?
Just Giving page.
You better tell us what that is then, in case listeners want to donate.
Oh, it's a long one.
You need to
Google. It's www.justgiving.com/team/Jimmy and Alan Cycle Le Jog 2024. So it's quite a long one.
I think people have to donate purely because you're so impressive to have memorised that so well. So please, if you're listening,
remember that anyway.
That's what you've got her with you.
Well, in time-honoured podcast fashion, we'll make sure that web link is in the show notes for this episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much, both of you. Well done for your fundraising, and do have a listen to yourselves back in a few weeks' time.
Well, thank you very much.
Good luck, guys. Thank you very much. Anna, I don't care who you are, that sound's always going to send shivers down your spine, isn't it?
Oh, totally. I know. I just had to video it for my younger daughter because she's learning to play and she's absolutely obsessed, so she'll want to watch that video. May we borrow you for a few minutes?
This chap here. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry. My name is Lyle Laird. I'm a director on RHASS. Yeah.
So we just want to really just talk to you about the show. Why is it so important? Why do you volunteer your time?
Well, I've been coming to the show and participating in the trade stands for the last 40 years. So I thought it was time to give something back to the show.
Oh, I see. Yes.
And I got asked to be the Bagmas representative on the boards. When I took that on because the previous chap had to retire.
Yes, yeah.
And I took that as a bit of an honour.
So your association with the show is and the society is long lasting.
1982. Would be my first show here.
Yeah. You feel as though the show and the society has given you a lot over the years, and now you're giving back.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your time. Oh, my sign's being taken by the wind again. Goodness.
My name is Debs Roberts and I am the manager at SOPA, Scottish Organic Producers Association.
So Debs, I have seen you at the Highland Show many a year. We're standing in the SOPA marquee at the moment. So tell us a bit more about why it's important for SOPA to be here, why you have this tent, and then, if you like, we'd love also to hear why the Highland Show means something to you as a person rather than just as a representative.
SOPA as an organisation is a membership organisation, so this is really the hub and the place for our organic members who are farmers and food processors in Scotland to come in and say hi. Everybody knows we're here, and we have a cup of tea and a chat, and everybody comes and catches up. So it's actually just like the place for organic chat at the show.
Yeah. And you've got a wonderful showcase behind you of organic produce, wonderful cold-pressed organic rapeseed oil, flour, eggs, ale, gin, milk, dairy, potatoes, everything you can think of.
We've got some
really
fantastic members, and all of this is brought in by our members, so it's produced by Scottish organic farmers. Yeah, so they're great guys.
And I think if you've got cottage cheese somewhere,
Yeah,
that was
we
a
do.
favourite of mine.
Yes,
oh, there
I
it is,
know.
I see it. Yeah. So it's really lovely for people to see what's there and what the choices are. And as you say, for you to also meet with your members who you might not have seen since last year if they're miles
That's right.
away.
We're speaking to them a lot on the phone, but this is in person, and
Yes.
actually you can't underestimate how important that is to actually have a chat with somebody and just be that physical presence. It's not the same as speaking on the phone. It's just how stuff comes into the conversation, and you never know where that's going to go. So it's really valuable. It sort of multiplies the whole impact, I think. But the other really good thing that we do here is anybody who's interested in organic farming can pop in. So we've already spent a couple of hours chatting with people almost on a one-to-one private consultation basis. It's so much easier to do that in person, where you can talk about the little intricacies of their farm and how it might adapt to convert to organic. So it's a really valuable way to get through right to the nitty-gritty of what it means to be organic.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Debs.
You're very welcome.
Brilliant.
Hi, my name is Becky McAngus and I am an equine showing competitor here at the Highland Show.
Wow, so Becky, I'm quite horsey, but I've never shown at the Highland Show. Tell me a bit more about what that involves, because it's quite a serious thing.
Yeah, it takes a lot of preparation. The horse I show is a big coloured gypsy cob with lots and lots of hair, so it takes lots of preparation, lots of bathing, lots of preening. But the show that I do is a Horse of the Year show qualifier, so it's the only qualifier that the coloured horses get in Scotland, so it's quite well contested. So we have a lot of expectation on our shoulders. So
huge amount of hard work. Yeah.
I'm actually relying on. I'm working here all week this week, so I'm relying on my husband to do all the preening and to bring him down here. So
he must be dedicated. Is he horsey as well, or only
not
through
really,
you?
only through me. So he did it last year and did a sterling job. So yeah.
So the big question we've been asking everybody is, what does the Highland Show mean for you? What it means for you is a huge opportunity and a huge amount of pressure as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I'm from England. I've only lived in Scotland for the last 10 years, but for me, it's the biggest show in the agricultural/equine calendar in the country for the year, and just make the most of it. And there is a lot of pressure because it is a big qualifier for another big show, but yeah, you have to just enjoy it, take your time to take it all in, and you rise to the occasion because you only get the opportunity once a year. So
yes, well, good luck. I hope he behaves himself.
Me too.
And the horse.
Yes.
Excellent. Lovely to speak to you.
Thank
Good
you
luck.
so much.
Thank you.
so much. Lovely to speak to you.
Okay, well, end of the Thursday of the show, end of day one.
Yes, and Dave, you told me you're already exhausted, so I hope you're going to have a good night's sleep tonight, because we've got another one of these days tomorrow. But I think we've had a good day. We planned to count everybody very clearly, which we've not done, but we think we've got 20-odd-ish voices already at the end of day one, and we've got the whole of tomorrow to capture the rest. We think we're getting a brilliant cross-section of people. We've heard some lovely stories. I particularly loved those schoolboys who said that they've got a new appreciation for food and farming, which I thought was lovely. So we've had a really good day.
Yeah, I have to say to you, they said that while holding a blue slushie.
But he did, remember, he talked a lot about steak and all sorts of yummy Scottish produce. So I think he's got the farming message.
I should be less cynical. So listen, Anna, it's been a lovely day. Well done. Thank you very much.
It's been really good. Thank you for coming. We'll put our comfy shoes on again for tomorrow. I think the weather's going to be even nicer, actually, so we can just pound the streets of the show and get more people to chat to us.
And I think where we need to be tomorrow is the rings, the main rings, maybe the cattle lines.
Yes.
And as I said right at the beginning, we still haven't made it over to the traditional crafts area.
No, we haven't actually made it.
There's a lot to cover.
We haven't made it very far because we keep stopping to speak to people. But yeah, tomorrow we'll start at the bottom and work up, shall we?
All right.
And see how we get on.
Who makes On Farm, Anna?
On Farm is made by the lovely people at Scene&HerdPR and Marketing. So as well as the podcast, we also build brands, websites, we do social media, and we also have On Record, which is a memory capturing audio initiative. So if you have family members who've got an amazing story to tell, you need On Record. So you can go to onrecordmemories.co.uk. But thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week.
With the second half of the 50 Voices from the Highland Show.
Yes.